Bulbul is saying, what are your views on Gandhi? I like Gandhi overall, at the end of the day.
Yeah, overall, I think he was good. I know people keep bringing up examples of things he got wrong, and especially things that he got wrong earlier. Some racist remarks he made that was like earlier. I don't know if he kept on having those views later on. Overall, I think he has a good resume.
Well, I mean, like, the Voltaire was a notorious anti-Semite, right? This guy, Gandhi was anti-Semitic. He had some. There were a lot of things about these guys. They lived in that time, and honestly, if many of us, if any of the sort of the woke white young people right now who want to tear down George Washington statues, if you lived in this time, 90% plus of you would probably also be part of slave owning families and be defending it. So there are things that are just fit into the context of certain times. I mean, there are different ways to look at history. XYZ is saying, in your opinion, what is the greatest threat? CCP, the Chinese Communist Party, Western right nationalism, Islamism, or Hindutva? I personally think CCP because of their massive capital and technological supremacy. I disagree. I think the CCP is a big issue right now and needs to be focused on a lot. But what do you think, Armin?
First of all, I would replace Islamism with Islam. There is no such thing as Islamism. It's just Islam. There is a difference between Hinduism and Hindutva. I give you that. There is no difference between Islamism and Islam.
Islam is inherently political.
Yeah. Okay, I am actually leaning. I used to answer Islam right away, but I need to look at some more data because the BJP is the world's largest political party in the world, and Islam is being defeated. Islam is losing its influence. Hindutva is rising, and it's the greatest threat to secularism, democracy, free speech. The number of people that are influenced by Hindutva right now is astronomical. Like the fact that we're ignoring this as a rising threat. I mean, with Islam, at least a lot of people consider the threat globally. With Hindutva, because it's all based in India, I think a lot of people are ignoring it because it's just not in their backyard. But if you are a humanist and you care about the highest number of humans that are affected by a certain ideology, then I think that should be your number one priority, especially given that I think Islam, based on all the statistics that we're seeing in Iran, the United States, and Western Europe, I do think we're winning against Islam, and I think we're losing against the BJP right now. So again, is as an ideology, Islam is a lot more like just if you look at the scripture by itself, I think Islam is a lot more dangerous. It could be used for a lot of more damage. Like it's a much more powerful weapon. But right now, as it stands, globally, I think Hindutva is more dangerous.
Yeah.
Given that the number of people it impacts.
Yeah, I have a different view. This is a different context I'm coming from. Again, your view, this stuff is just depends on when you ask the question, and it'll be different answers. But at this point in time, I would say Western right nationalism. But the reason that I say that is because with China is not like a democratic country. Islam is not one of those things. Hindutva is like a nationalist religious movement. But with the West, with a lot of countries like in the US and in Europe, these are countries that have gone through centuries and centuries of societal and political evolution to come to certain values and to which I think are universal values, and they've applied them in a way that other countries at this point really haven't, and that's the ideal. So when you have corruption in that sort of nucleus that you're hoping, you have higher expectations of, right? That's arrived at. I think that is a lot more dangerous often, even if it's at a smaller scale. And I think that must be nipped out, and that must be fought against before anything else. That's my opinion. Music guy is saying, Armin, is it true that most mullahs in Iran are millionaires, and also the anti-American government religious officials send their children to America and Europe to live and go to school?
I think you should change most to many, and then that would be true. Not definitely not most, but is it so? If you ask Armin, is it true that many mullahs in Iran are millionaires? Then that's true, yes, but not most, definitely not most. And also the anti-American government religious official, yeah, again, if you also change that to many, that's true. There are many people, there are many religious people that are actually responsible for the Islamic Revolution in Iran, like the founders of the Islamic Revolution in Iran, are sending their kids to the United States for education. It is actually, Ali, I don't know if you know this, but the student, the woman, the female university student who was led the capturing of Iran, United States embassy, and the hostage taking. So, like the one that was like the spokesperson, that was like reporter, like she was like, yeah, basically all the world, like when United States hostages were being, everybody wanted them free. All over the news, there was this woman that was being highlighted, and she was speaking for the hostage takers, right? That lady, she has sent her children now into United States for education. So the level of, and she gets so much crap in Iran for that. Much.
The Saudis do this too. A lot of like the really sort of the Saudi elites and the people from the royal family, a lot of the religious police, like people over there, the religious authorities, they also send their kids to Europe and the US to go to university, and they're all. Do you remember Christopher Hitchens actually had whiskey with Khomeini's grandson, right? I don't know what the story behind that is, but that happened as well. So,
hey guys, if you want to join these streams live, get your comments and questions read by Ali and Armin and the guests, and most importantly, to get full access to the full video versions of all these episodes, become a patron. Link in the description below.